Hi everyone, I'm Michael Uriarty, or Dr. Mike, and welcome to the MYK System channel. This is episode 1 in our series of comparing and contrasting other techniques with the MYK system. Today we're going to talk about Rolfing Structural Integration. We'll give a brief history and a description of what I could find about the technique, and then we'll cover the similarities and the differences to the MYK system. If you want more information on either technique, I have the website links in the description below. Whether you're a patient looking for help or a practitioner looking for a good technique to learn, this series is what you need. Let's dive in. How did Rolfing start? Ida Rolf is the founder and developer of Rolfing Structural Integration. Now, most people leave off the structural integration and just say Rolfing. That's how I've always heard of it. In 1920, so in the 1920s, a little history lesson, 1920s, only 7% of women went to college. Only 20% went to work. So Ida Rolf was a pioneer just from that standpoint, because in 1920, she went and got her PhD in biochemistry. She wanted to find solutions to her own health problems along with problems that her sons were having. So she looked into different forms of alternative care like homeopathy, osteopathy, chiropractic, yoga, just to name a few. And after looking into these, she agreed that some of the basic thoughts which they taught, which were alignment and function go hand in hand, she agreed with that. She was like, yeah, that makes sense. Now, being a chiropractor, I absolutely agree with that. Alignment and function go hand in hand. Absolutely. So she wanted to find out what effects gravity had on our bodies. And so she posed this question: what conditions must be fulfilled in order for the human body structure to be organized and integrated in gravity so that the whole person can function in the most optimal and economical way? There has got to be an easier way to say that. And I think, because all she really means is, how does the body have to stand to gravity so that it can function at its most optimal point? And so, that's, again, alignment and function. And so how does the body align to gravity? That's an easier way to say all that. Sometimes I kind of glaze over when I hear people talk big words, integrate it. 4 syllables, too many. I like smaller words. All right, so Ida devoted her whole life to figuring out what can we do to help a person, feel better, and how they stand to gravity and how can they function better and all that. And she developed a series of 10 sessions, which is now called the 10 series. Now, Ida died in 1979 at the age of 83, and now the Rolf Institute of Structural Integration continues to teach her work. So, what is the theory and the philosophy of Rolfing? Well, Rolfing wants to align and balance the body's components until the entire system is functioning properly. It does this by addressing the fascia. So their focus is going to be on the fascia. So, here is a word-for-word quote from what they say. Think of the fascial system as an intricate, let's try that again. Think of the fascial system as an intricate internal guide wire network for the body. Good Lord. Again, we've got to come up with some easier ways to describe this. All right, continuing. If one set of support wires becomes tight or out of place, the excess tension may appear as nagging joint pain, muscle soreness, or a postural shift. Okay. To correct internal alignments, a Rolfer uses mild, questionable, I'm going to question that right there, mild, direct pressure to melt or release fascial holdings and allow the body to find health through the reestablishment of balance. This is all from their website, okay? It is currently believed that the slow, deep strokes, okay, I concur with that, deep strokes of Rolfing stimulate intrafascial mechanoreceptors, which are sensory neurons of the muscle, which in turn triggers the nervous system to reduce the tension of the related muscles and fascia. Okay, so I'm thinking there's got to be an easier way, and thank the Lord, they said to put it another way. Oh, thank you. Here we go. So, to put it another way, Rolfing allows the brain and the nervous system to reboot areas of the body that are receiving too much electrical stimulation, so chronically tight or sore muscles. So once a healthy level of muscle contraction is established, the person's entire structure is free to express a pain-free form. Okay, so if I was going to word that another way, and I think they may reword it this way also later on, but let's say you twist your ankle, then the fascia gets tight and it can pull up and pull on your hip, which could then pull on this other hip, which could then cause tightness up in the shoulder. And so you end up, because you twisted your ankle, a number of years later, you can end up with shoulder pain, or, it shows up, it manifests as a problem somewhere else. I get that. They're saying it's all done through the fascial system, which is good. I like that too. I'm fine with that. All right. Who should consider Rolfing structural integration? So what do they say they fix, and who should get this? Now, Ida, being the good business lady that she was, she said, everybody should get this work. From the time you're born all the way up until you die, from children and adults, everybody should get it. So she said, her words, all bodies have some degree of disorder and compensation in their structure. Which, again, I pretty much agree with that as well. I mean, think of it this way. When you learn how to walk, stand up, fall down, you knock a hip out of place or knock something out of place, just a little thing out of place, and all of a sudden that alters your structure and it alters your function down the road. So I do agree with that, and I do agree that everybody can get soft tissue work and can get treated. Chiropractic can get acupuncture, can get all these different treatments from birth all the way up to death. So I do agree with that. All right, so she said in her global vision, so this was her global vision, she imagined a more evolved and structurally efficient human species as a result of her work. All right, I can respect that. That's a nice thing. Now, my vision, if we go to the MYK system, my vision with the MYK system, I truly believe that we can eliminate physical pain. I really do. And I'm not talking about emotional pain or mental anguish or anything like that. But as far as physical pain, I truly believe that we can eliminate that. And then we can get everyone moving at the best of their body's potential. So it may not be full range of motion, but I do believe that we can get a body moving to the best of its ability. Okay, back to Ida. More specifically, she says those who have a history of injury or trauma and notice that the effects of their often minor injuries are beginning to interfere with their everyday lives, these people should consider Rolfing. Anyone with old injuries that has tried other treatments with limited or no success should consider Rolfing. She goes on to say that anyone with any limiting physical discomfort can benefit from Rolfing as long as there's no signs of nervous disorder. I think she means nervous system disorder. She says that Rolfing combined with movement therapy offers a long-lasting solution for connective tissue problems. Does Rolfing hurt? I'm going to say yeah, it does, of course. But I'm going to say resounding yes. That's what I've heard. I've never had a Rolfing session. That's what I've heard. I've heard it from multiple people over the years. So let's see what Ida has to say. Ida says, you should not have to experience any pain, but there may be some discomfort. Now, discomfort is that hidden type of word that means pain. But I think the Rolfing Institute has probably changed this, because when some people think of Rolfing, one of the first words that comes to their mind is pain. And that's what I've heard. So they say, this is again off their website, this perception is based on anecdotal accounts of sessions performed during Rolfing's infancy, when it was a more intense discipline, and attribute it to the often quoted complaint of Ida during class that her students failed to work deep enough. So when Ida did the work, it was some deep, deep work. So I'm sure that there were people that went in for a treatment with Ida. If you haven't seen pictures of her, she's a shorter statured lady. And they probably thought, oh, geez, I'm just going to get a treatment from this, short little woman here. And then before they knew it, they were like Mel Gibson in Braveheart, laying on the table at the end of the movie going, freedom! Right? So much pain. They're just trying to get away from it. Anyway, so that's just kind of how my mind works when I think of all these kind of stories. All right. So they say that the longer you've had a problem, it may require more sustained pressure to release. Okay. And now this point I didn't know. Ida made the point during the therapeutic process that emotional pain is often experienced when emotion, trauma, and memories are brought to the surface and processed. Now that's going to relate into our third video. I'm already working on the third video, and it relates back to this. And so maybe they shared some information back and forth, and we'll get into that in the third video. So a general guideline for the vast majority of Rolfing clients is that the intensity experienced, now they didn't say the word pain, they just said intensity, I'm good with that, is transitory. It moves quickly from a brief intensity. Brief intensity. Okay. Unless you've had a problem for a long time, because then they said it's gonna hurt, but they said it's going to be a sustained pressure. You're going to feel a little pressure. Yeah, that means pain. All right, so let's go back. It's going to be a brief intensity to a decrease in sensation, and finally to an easing of the long-standing holdings. That's what they say. All right, let's get into what does the practitioner do? What is this 10 series, and what does the person receive? So what is this? So it's a standardized recipe basically for everybody. And the goal is to systematically balance and optimize both the structure and the function of the entire body over the course of these 10 sessions. So each session is going to focus on a particular region. So the 10 series is broken into 3 units. So unit 1 is going to be called the sleeve sessions, and it's sessions 1, 2, and 3. And they try and loosen and balance the surface layers of the connective tissue. So session 1 focuses on enhancing the quality of breath work by working on the arms, the rib cage, the diaphragm, the upper leg, the hamstrings, the neck, and the spine. You're getting a pretty good work in session 1. They're covering a lot. Okay, session 2 just is going to focus on the foot and the lower leg muscles. And then session 3, they're going to look at you from the side view and see how to address, how they can fix, how your head, your shoulders, and your hips are positioned. If they're out of alignment, how are they going to straighten that up? So that's the first series, sessions 1, 2, and 3. Sessions 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is unit 2, is referred to as the core sessions. So going from the bottom of the pelvis up to the top of the head. So session 4 begins on the inside arch of the foot and goes all the way up to the bottom of the pelvis. That's session 4. Both sides, right? All these are both sides. Session 5 balances the surface and the deep abdominal muscles. I got to think that deep work in the abs is, you're going to feel some intense pressure, mild discomfort. That's how I word it whenever I'm going a little bit too deep on somebody. I just say, oh, it's just mild discomfort. That's not pain. But I gotta think, working in the abs, superficial and then deep, you're gonna feel it. Now I could be wrong because again, I haven't had it done. All right, that's session 5. Session 6, they're gonna cover the legs, the pelvis, and the low back. And session 7, the full attention is on the neck and the head. And then we get into unit 3, which is sessions 8, 9, and 10. And this is called the integration sessions, which it gives the practitioner an opportunity to blend what they've already accomplished into what still needs to be done. So sessions 8 and 9, the practitioner kind of looks at you and determines, okay, we still need to focus over here. We got to work on this, whatever. And then session 10 serves to inspire a sense of order and balance to support the body with health for years to come. Okay. So that's quite the recipe, I got to say. So in a minute, we're going to talk about the similarities and the differences between Rolfing and the MYK system. But right now, let's get into just continuing education if you're in the healthcare profession. So I couldn't really find any information on what professions the Rolfing gives or provides CEUs for. I do know it provides CEUs for the massage therapy profession. I'm not sure about the other professions. If you know, write in the comments below of any other professions that can get their CEUs from taking a Rolfing class. So right now, I'm just going to say that it's massage therapists because that's what I know right now. Cost of the classes. And again, this is what I found on the website. Classes range from $450. That would be like an intro to the theory and the philosophy of Rolfing. There's also a $450 class for a Body Flow Movement 10 series. So that may be pretty good. There's a number of other classes, and they keep going up in price until you get to the certification class. Now, when I first saw the certification class cost, I looked at it and I'm like, am I missing? Did they miss a dot in there somewhere or a comma? So to get certified, now maybe this is taking all the classes to get certified, but it comes out to $26,541. Now, I read that and I thought, well, geez, maybe I should raise my rates. I'm not anywhere close to that number. All right, let's get into what are the similarities and what are the differences between Rolfing and the MYK system. And this is kind of what this whole series is about because I get these questions all the time. Hey, how is this similar to this other technique? How is what you do different from this other technique? And so that's kind of, I thought, oh, well, this would be good. We can just start talking about all kinds of techniques and going through the similarities and the differences. So a similarity to Rolfing is Rolfing looks at posture to help determine what they're trying to figure out. And so does the MYK system. Now, how we look at posture and what it means to us is totally different. So Rolfing may look at how you're standing, and maybe one foot is carrying more of the load. Maybe one foot is more flat than the other foot. They're going to look at how the head, the shoulders, and the hips are in alignment. Things like this. And again, if somebody has more information on how they look at posture and all that, let me know, because this is what I could find on their website and through some of their videos that they showed. With the MYK system, what we're looking for, so we have a posture chart, and it breaks down each postural imbalance to the specific nerve roots that are impacted from this imbalance. And it's a pretty quick scan. So it takes about 4 minutes or so to do a full body analysis, and then we calculate it up to find the main nerve that is the issue. So we look at posture not to say that this is off, but we look at posture to say, what is the specific nerve that's causing your issue? What's the nerve problem that's causing your issue? Now, another difference, so how we look at posture is different. Another difference is the focus of the treatment itself. So Rolfing says it's trying to release fascial holdings. With the MYK system, we want everything on one nerve pathway to send a signal back up to the brain. And some muscles will say no change on this pathway, but others are going to say, hey, I'm in a new position relative to gravity. And so when this person stands up after the treatment, the brain receives all of this information and then it makes changes. So it says, wow, all of these muscles had a change. Now all these other muscles that we never even touched are going to contract or relax based on that change. And so but somebody stands up and you can watch their posture balance. And then you go, hey, you couldn't do this movement just a second ago. And then they either bend over, raise their arm, raise their leg, whatever it is. And they're like, whoa. So it's pretty quick results that we see. Another similarity is we both agree, Rolfing and the MYK system, we both agree that pretty much anybody can receive this work. So from birth to death, anybody can get this work. So that's good. Another difference is how we treat the muscles. So Rolfing is more of a sustained pressure. It's done slowly and pretty deep. The MYK system can be done with any type of stimulation. Slow, fast, deep, light, whatever. So there is a difference in how we treat. With Rolfing, the patient may move a little in certain positions to help get into the muscle. It looked like to me that there was a lot of skin-on-skin contact, but I wasn't sure if they use oils and creams. I don't think that they do. And so that's a similarity because we don't use, in MYK system, we don't use oils and creams either. There is usually a passive and an active component to the MYK system treatment. So the patient is passive. We will move the person through a range of motion, and then the patient will be active. They'll continue with that same motion as we're working on the muscles. So what I always say is the passive kind of clears the memory of the muscle, and the active re-educates how the with reciprocal inhibition, how the muscles are firing. And so that's kind of how we get an increase in the range of motion. Rolfing takes about an hour. This is another difference. Rolfing takes an hour to an hour and a half. The MYK system treatments are 15 minutes or less. So basically with the MYK system, you can definitely help more people in a day. Rolfing has the same protocol. So this is another difference. Rolfing has the same protocol for every person. You go through the 10 series. The MYK system treatment is specific to each person. So the treatment is based off the person's specific postural imbalances and that nerve problem. So two people can come in with some similar postural imbalances, not all the same, and end up receiving two different treatments based on the nerve level that is the problem. Rolfing does say that they get into some movement therapy, and this movement therapy, again, is relating to our number 3 video. So we're going to see. I'm trying to find out if it crossed reference there. So, but I don't know about their movement therapy. They didn't really get into it on the website and describe what the movement therapy was. So again, if anybody has information on what they mean by their movement therapy, I would love to know. So let me know. With the MYK system, we get into specific muscles that need to be strengthened based off the postural imbalances and the nerve problem. And so not everyone with the same condition will go home with the same muscles that need to be strengthened, because it's very specific to each person, and that's what we're able to do there. It appears Rolfing only is approved for massage therapists for continuing ed. The MYK system is approved for massage therapists, the physical therapy profession, PTs and PTAs, the occupational therapy profession, OTs and OTAs, athletic trainers, chiropractors, nurses, personal trainers. So lots of different professions that we teach. I did see that some other classes will provide 22 CEUs, and some other classes even more than that. With the MYK system, we have the upper body and the lower body, which is 20 CEUs. In some states, it goes up to 23. And with the autonomic nervous system class, that's about 40, 38 to 40 CEUs for that class. So going through this and going through the information, I will say that Rolfing does sound interesting to me. It's very different from an MYK treatment. And, you know, I may have to go try out the 10 series and then do a follow-up video and see how it was and see if it was actually painful or not, you know. So be sure and hit the subscribe button. I have a lot more videos coming. If you made it this far, smile.